place in the 1950s?
I might have the disagreement. But I don't like. Actually, Tenet, I really liked that movie. So,
Which is
there
crazy.
you go. Tenet was a great
This
movie.
one.
Tenet was a great movie. Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the SuperheroCuts podcast where we talk all things Marvel, DC, and Star Wars with your boy Stevie Hayes, joined by Comic Cuts per usual. Today we have a bunch of topics to cover. I'm pretty excited about that. So obviously we're going to get right into it because I am very excited to talk about Loki episode 1. So obviously we're going to give a review on Loki episode 1. So, Comic Cuts, how did you like Loki episode 1?
I loved it. I think it was awesome. Finally, that spark in the MCU is back. And I want to say, I saw a lot of people online complaining that the episode was kind of circular in like it didn't actually advance the Loki story. We kind of started off, it ended where it started off, other than ridding him of the time glitching conundrum. But I think that's a good sign. I think it's a great sign that the episode was fire and it didn't do anything to serve the greater purpose of the overall MCU story, because we have to be able to enjoy the MCU when it's not always advancing the story. Because not everything in the MCU is going to have a significant advancement, and we have to get around to being able to enjoy it without that. And I think Loki season 2, episode 1 was, a perfect case study of that.
I 100% agree. I actually really liked Loki episode 1. And I told you before we even started the show that I think this was the best opening to an MCU show that we've gotten so far. And I actually disagree with the fact that it doesn't advance the episode, because I think that Loki episode 1 puts the multiversal story for the MCU back on track. Now I believe that Loki episode 1, season 2, episode 1 was amazing. By the way, Dragon Trainer, what's up, homie? How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. We love you. Thank you for hopping on the show tonight. But I really do believe that this was the perfect episode to put the MCU back on track. The MCU sets us up with many things. We get set up with Kang and Ravonna. Okay, I mean, to me, that is the perfect way to set it up. The Loki episode 1 confirmed their love story, which is one of the and if you read the comic books, Kang and Ravonna, that's her name, right? I hope I'm saying it right. Ravonna, right? Yeah, Ravonna. They have the saddest love story of all time, in my opinion, and like one of the saddest love stories in comic books. And Loki episode 1 makes this question of where is Kang and what is happening, and it's building up to us meeting Kang the Conqueror. I don't see how you think that doesn't advance the story.
Listen, I just think the episode kind of started where it ended. There were a couple of hints of things about Ravonna, but I don't think it really did anything to advance the story. And my big question about Kang and Ravonna still looms over my head with this, because we don't know that, Kang and Ravonna's love exists. I think a lot of us that read comics think it is, exists prior to what we're seeing in the MCU, but we don't know that, and part of Kang and Ravonna's story is that, she first turned him down. He meets her later in the future and he gets with her, and there's a lot of that. And, we don't know if any of that's happened. We don't know if they're going to use the real comic story. We don't know if, they don't really know each other yet, and she's just working for the TVA. I mean, that remains to be seen. And I think that's one of the most interesting things. So listen, I take a lot of the hints with a grain of salt. It's the MCU, and I think that that's one of the MCU's biggest assets is, it's not always so predictable, even if you read the comics, which I thank them for.
I think that you shouldn't take it with a grain of salt, because there was an audio when Loki played that audio of Kang the Conqueror talking to Ravonna. He said he is marveled by her, and he basically tried to riz her up the whole audio. I mean, that right there should show you that they have a thing going on.
listen, when Kang meets Ravonna, he's into her, but we don't know, and that audio doesn't confirm that she's into him. And in the very beginning of their love story, she turned him down. You got to remember that.
I mean, and look, you could be right because look, I mean, it could be. I mean, he did go back in time at this point when he heard the audio. This could have been with Wish turned him down, but one thing that we do know is that she's working with him in Loki season 1 in that time. So
Yeah.
there's something going on there. So I believe that it's introducing us into the love story for Kang and Ravonna, which I think is awesome. But I mean, also like let's also talk about the fact that Sylvie is the Iron Horse in this episode because I believe that Sylvie is a very powerful being at this point. She's basically the watcher of the multiverse at the moment. I mean, she is. So I think, and I love how they introduce her as well. I think it's very interesting seeing her want to live a normal life and seeing the TVA make all these actions against her. I'm really excited for that. I really want to know who pruned Loki at the end of the episode. The theory that's going around is that it is Loki. Hold on one second. Dragon Trainer said, I think I know what happened to Kang when he said to yo, if you think you know what happened, drop that in the comments so we can read it and talk about it. I would love to talk about it. But yeah, I think there was a lot in this episode to take away. As I said, I think Loki puts the MCU back on track, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the Marvels is going to surprise people. I know we're going to get to that, but I think Loki is a positive sign. I think the Marvels will be a positive sign, and I think that we're going to go into 2024 with some, positivity to the MCU. Now, isn't there something else coming out at the end of the year? Is it The Watcher season 2 or What If season 2?
Yeah. Rumor. Yeah. I mean, it's on the slate. It hasn't been moved. So my guess is that they've been done filming that.
Yeah. And I don't expect them to make that announcement until at least Loki season 2 is over. But I do think it would be dope if they just waited till a Marvel's dropped and then like after the first week or so, and like boom, surprise, What If coming December holiday, boom.
Yeah, there are theories saying that Ravonna is a Kang variant. That would be terrible.
Yeah, that would be stupid.
I would hate that. Stupid. I would honestly hate that. That would just take away from who Ravonna is as a character. Like Ravonna plays a key role in the ascension of Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror loses all hope when he figures out that every time he finds love with Ravonna, she dies. That's pretty much like that would destroy what makes Kang's heart kind of turn cold. So I would honestly hate that. I will say this. I mean, at first I wasn't the biggest fan that Mobius plays such a big part, but I do like Mobius's role in the movie. I'm sorry, I like Mobius's role in the show. I also like how Loki was time skipping, or time jumping to whatever it is. I think it kind of reminded me of what Miles does in the Spider-Verse when the wristband goes off. So it was also it was super awesome to see that parallel.
Yeah, I agree. It
I
was
thought
almost
it was
like a mirror image.
Yeah, and let's talk about now. Aside from the content of the show, let's talk about the quality of this show. Man, what beautiful cinematography this had. The music was amazing. I mean, when Mobius had on that astronaut suit to go out into where like the multiverse is, and he put that machine in there, it was beautiful cinematography. Shout out to the VFX team at Marvel. They've been getting a lot of crap lately. They held it down today or last week. They held it down
for sure. I mean, the time slipping, the space, the TVA, everything visually, this show was A1, and I think that's always been one of Marvel's feats. Like everything always looks good on the movie screen or on your TV, and it's nice that it did. But on that note, I also thought Quantumania looked great. Like it got a lot of hate, and I know we always say this, like we both love the movie. I don't know about love, but we both like the movie.
Yeah,
but,
I like Quantumania.
Like I rewatch it a fair amount, and I think it's like a really good looking movie. It's really cool what they did with the quantum realm.
Quantumania is not as bad as what people think. It's just
You know,
because it's Ant-Man that he gets to hate.
I think it's because it's Ant-Man and because they called it Quantumania and built up the quantum realm for the 2 prior movies. Because it was the debut of Kang, everyone went in with such high expectations, and those expectations weren't met, and I think that's why it's so critiqued.
I agree. And also, Ant-Man shouldn't have won against Kang. Let's be real.
Listen, on paper, I understand why they did it. I think that they are trying to, build up some of the remaining Avengers. They want to sell them as stronger characters to fill the shoes of those that left us in Endgame. So I get them wanting to be like, we want more Ant-Man fandom. But in theory, it's like, come on, Ant-Man, Kang.
Yeah, and if you want that to happen, show us a weaker version of Kang. Like this Kang that we saw in Ant-Man could have washed the Avengers with no effort. Like I ain't gonna lie. Like, and like they you put ants on this dude like that. Come on, man. Come on. Like that's ridiculous. Because ridiculous. I would have liked if Ant-Man escaped rather than won, if that makes sense. Like if Ant-Man won 100%. By escaping the quantum realm, that's more intriguing to me than him actually beating the man.
Yeah, and to think Iron Man, Tony Stark, had to die to defeat Kang. And
you mean Thanos?
Thanos, yeah. And remember when he was in the beginning of Endgame when he was like, when they were like, "Oh, you fought," he's like, "Whoa, who told you I fought them?" What do you mean? He wiped my face with a planet,
Yeah. And the Bleaker Shriek. What's it? The Bleaker Shriek. Something gave up the store. Gave up the store. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, good times, man. Good times.
Everyone disrespects Doctor Strange in every movie.
Yeah.
They always call him a clown or a magician. It's just
and he's one of the best. He's like one of the best characters in Marvel history, in superhero history. It's crazy.
No Way Home. They're like, Doc Ock's like, "How'd you do that?" And he goes, "More magic tricks."
Yeah, he does. He does catch a lot of strays, man. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So yeah, but all in all, as I said, I think Loki episode 1 was a really good start to the season. I'm very happy. I can't wait to see the next episode this Thursday. I do have a theory in my head. I do believe that Kang is hiding somewhere. But I do want to talk about a few other things. The TVA finally knows that the timekeepers are fake. We saw the mask on the table and all of them were freaking out, and they actually ended up finding out that they aren't specialized TVA agents. They're actually variants, which changes the game. And that's why a lot of them don't want to prune all of those other timelines, because we have lives in those timelines. So why would I kill myself? So this is also going to start a war, a kind of a civil war within the TVA about whether if it's worth it or not to prune these Earths. And then on top of that, they're going to the end of time. So it's going to be very interesting.
For sure.
What are you talking about? Big data crunch. Do you know what this is or no? Is that a penis on the screen? I'm taking that off.
I don't see it.
The dude's profile picture. Look, is this a penis, bro?
Or am I tripping? God.
Okay. All right, dude.
Yeah, dude.
You're banned.
Yeah. We don't need YouTube.
Yep, you are banned, buddy. 2 scoops, you are banned for that comment. Okay.
Oh god. And with that name,
okay. Yeah. Welcome. At least we have trolls. That means that we were doing something right. But yeah. So I think that, as I said, I think there's going to be a civil war within the TVA. What do you think of Victor Timely? This is my theory. I mean, I definitely know that they're going to go back in time to see Victor Timely, but I think that's going to be to cause an alliance. I don't really think they're going to fight him, and I think Victor Timely is going to play them somehow. The rumor that's going around is that Loki and Mobius want to get to the back to the sacred timeline to warn everyone about what's going on or something like that. And basically, the only way to get to the sacred timeline is through Kang the Conqueror. And basically, only the variants of him are able to reach that. And so that's one of the reasons why they seek Victor Timely. But little do they know, Victor Timely is one of the Kang variants that lost to Kang, and basically he ended up hiding in this time. So he's going to take advantage of the TVA's tools and end up going back to the secret timeline, and that's going to cause a lot of mayhem. So that's the theory that's going around. If that's true, I think that'll be awesome. But I am excited to see Victor Timely because we've never seen him in live action except for the end credits. I forget of what movie. So how do you feel about him?
Victor Time. Listen, I think we're going to see Victor Timely, but my ultimate hope is that we also see Kang. I think that a big thing about Loki is Loki needs to succeed where Ant-Man Quantumania didn't, and they need to really deliver on Kang. And in order to do that, we're going to need Kang the Conqueror, not Victor Timely.
Yeah, and he has to win in this.
Yeah, which, by the way, is an easy thing to do. Like, Loki is not an Avenger. He's not a Thunderbolt. You know, he's already been the main villain. He's kind of, a miscellaneous character in where he falls. He's easy to kind of wipe out of the way. They don't need him for anything after Loki season 2, unless they are going to do it in season 3. What, you think what?
I think he's going to run the whole TVA. I think he's going to run the whole entire TVA,
which would be cool. Listen, I'm for that. I think that's a big idea. I like big ideas, but if he's going to run the TVA, is he going to team up with Kang? Like, is that what you're thinking?
I have no idea.
He's going to beat Kang.
I have no idea.
They can't have Loki beat Kang.
I think he should team up with Kang, and that would kind of flow into him and Thanos again.
Listen, Loki is smart. He's mischievous. But the one thing Loki is not is powerful. Loki was only the only reason Loki put up a fight in Avengers 1 is because he had the Chitauri behind him.
And the Tesseract, which is an Infinity Stone.
Tesseract.
And an Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
I mean, I want Loki back with Thor. Because, I mean, like, Loki's the only person that can resurrect that Thor franchise. So, we need him with Thor. And apparently that's the goal. So, that's, like, if I'm Chris Hemsworth, I want Loki back in my movie.
Yeah, 100%.
So, all right, let's get to the next thing. So, we got some Blade news. Blade. Okay, so Blade is being played by Mahershala Ali. If you don't know who he is, really great actor. Do you like Mahershala Ali as an actor?
I'm not so familiar with him. I don't know if I've ever seen anything with him in it. I know everyone's happy that he's Blade, so I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I don't think I'm familiar with him. Was he in Moonlight or something? I've never seen it, but
no. But you said Moon Knight?
Moonlight.
I'm not sure.
I think it was an Oscar nominee one year. I don't know.
Probably.
If one.
I saw some movie with Mahershala Ali in it, but I do think that for Blade, Mahershala Ali looks perfect. I mean, dude,
he looks perfect, but I think that's a big fallacy that we see in the comic book movie world a lot. That if someone looks the part, a lot of people assume they could play the role well, which I don't think is, listen, the two are completely different. Looking the part you have to look the part to play the part, but looking the part is completely unrelated to acting skills.
Yeah, I think Mahershala Ali is like a great actor, like generational actor in my opinion. And his work speaks for that. I mean, like if you watch some of them projects, you'll be like, "Yo, this dude can act." Like he's like he's on like I put him in like that Chadwick Boseman tier. Like he takes Mahershala takes it serious. That's why I mean he made them rewrite the script.
Yeah,
like he's that involved.
I don't know how much I like the idea of it being in the 1920s, and I guess there's time travel, and that's a big part of the MCU now. But
I don't think
when
time
it
travel is going to be in this, honestly, bro.
and I'd want to see a more modern Blade. Like I want to see a Blade with all the weapons, and that was one of the things I loved about the Wesley Snipes Blade movies. And
Yeah,
if we're going
I don't
back
know
to the
how they're
20s,
going to do
it's not
it.
gonna be that. Yeah,
I think it's going to link with the Werewolf by Night and all those type of projects. I think that's going to be his
okay,
own little pocket. Moon Knight, I think it's going to be in that little pocket of heroes. I would love to see something like that. And apparently, this is really going to push the Midnight Suns narrative. Which, if they do a Midnight Suns movie, that movie will gross $1 billion with no effort. I mean, dude, what?
yeah,
Imagine the Midnight Suns movie, bro. You would go nuts.
yeah, I would, I
Yeah.
agree.
So yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the only way that I think that they can like change the tide is they have to introduce a team like that. But with Blade, you can do so much with that character in the MCU. You could do a 1920s and like as a flashback. I think it's gonna be over a flashback. I think people are exaggerating. I think it's gonna be a 1920s flashback. And I think it's gonna deal with Black Knight. I think he's going to deal with one of the past lives of Black Knight, and it's going to link to that. And I think we're going to get a Black Knight and Blade story, which I think will be very interesting because then that will introduce us to the Midnight Suns. So that's
right.
kind of the plot I see it going to because I see it like don't you know how Sam's Falcon and the Winter Soldier gave us Thunderbolts?
Um, yeah.
That's the way I see that movie kind of playing a role. Like it's going to be about Blade. But I do think that it's the big picture is to get him into MCU so we can do a Midnight Suns movie. And I'm happy that they're not doing a show. I think a Blade show would have been terrible. Like I love the fact that like we're doing a one-off movie and like I like that because shows
Yeah,
are too long. Like there are some characters in Marvel that you just don't want to like overdo. Like an
like
Iron Man show.
Echo, Ironheart,
Whoa, no.
Agatha.
Well, I would say no because Blade is a top tier character. He's an A-list character.
No, I know, but I'm just saying
yeah.
about the shows. Like I would rather watch 1 hour than 5 or 6 hours.
Exactly. Because
Echo, Agatha.
Because with someone like Blade, right, like 6 hours of Blade, you would get tired of the character. Not because he's a bad character, but because the excitement goes away once you get so much of something. That's why I feel like they haven't done a Luke Skywalker show or an Anakin show because of that reason. Which is a lie because Star Wars: The Clone Wars is one of the biggest TV shows of all time. Anyways, time for another day. So I'm happy that they're doing a Blade movie, and if it's set in the 1920s, I'll be very excited to see what characters are in it. A lot of Easter eggs and stuff like that. So, Lord, I can only hope. Okay, so we're on board for Blade. We just need more news, and we need a costume reveal because I think that costume is going to be freaking awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk some Star Wars. All right, let's talk some Star Wars. Because a lot of you guys have been talking about Balin and nagging me on TikTok to talk about it. So if you want me to talk about Balin's skull, here you go. I'm about to drop it to you. Blade. Yes, he did. He came out with his Eternals. He did. He talked in the Eternals, which was super weird because it had nothing to do with the Eternals at all. So I hope that they build off of that because I like Kit Harington as Black Knight. That was a great casting. Okay. Let's talk about this Mortis God stuff, okay? Now, I'm going to drop this bomb on you, Comic Cuts and fans. Okay, so Balin's skull, Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, okay? Anakin is a Force God, okay? Anakin is the father, okay? The father is dead. When Anakin died, he took the role of the father, okay? Ahsoka is the daughter. Ahsoka ended up dying on Mortis. The daughter put her Force energy into Ahsoka to bring her back to life. In that moment, Ahsoka became the embodiment of the Force. When she was temporarily dead in the Ahsoka show and she went to the world between worlds, she came out a different. She came out as still as the embodiment of the light side of the Force. Balin's skull, okay. I do not think Balin's skull has taken the role of the son. I believe the original son from Star Wars: The Clone Wars is still alive, and he is on Mortis. Okay, that is what I believe. And when Balin's skull is standing on the father's hand and he's looking directly to some light, my theory that's going around is that is possibly a portal to the Mortis planet that we saw in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, or it is a portal to the world between worlds. Those are the two things. I'm leaning more towards it being a portal to the world between worlds because of the fact that Anakin is there and he's the father. I believe that he's going to face off against Bale and Skull and defeat him and all that jazz. I really do believe the fact that Anakin Skywalker being the father changes everything in the story because Bale and Skull doesn't know that. And also, think about this. At the end of the Ahsoka show, Anakin pops up as a Force ghost, but he is not wearing white robes like we saw Yoda in, like we saw Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's wearing a black robe. Why is that? It is symbolism. And when you zoom in on Anakin's face, and I'm weird, so I zoomed in on his face. Half of his face is smirking, the other half of his face is a straight face. I believe that is symbolism for us to see that he is the true balance of the Force. And so I believe that we're going to dig deeper into that Mortis God, father, daughter, son narrative in Ahsoka season 2. Also, guys, remember this. Ahsoka says that we are meant to be here. She told us being we're meant to be on Peridia. That is not an accident. That is not an accident. Right. So those are all things that, we need to take a look at when we're putting out this Bale and Skull stuff. Also, because Rey did die, they argue they have to recast because like the internet blew up over the Bale and Skull stuff because look, Thrawn is amazing. The war, great. The stuff that they're doing with the world between worlds is greater. And hear me on this, guys. And this might sound risky, and I'm putting this on TikTok. What they're doing with the world between worlds is more important than anything they've ever done in Star Wars history. This will define the true meaning of the Force. Think about that. This will define the whole entire spiritual background of Star Wars. And if Dave Filoni does this right, if Dave Filoni can do this right, this might be the greatest story that we've ever seen in history. And that's just my take. Because I do believe Star Wars is the greatest story in history. And I will forever say that. So, and Dave Filoni has had the chance to build upon this story. Because when George Lucas first created Anakin, there was no explanation to what being the chosen one actually was. Like, you know what I mean? There was no explanation to what happened to Anakin after death. And Dave Filoni is finally explaining that for the fans. So, okay, my Mortis God theory rant is over. Okay, all right. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I love that they're bringing Anakin into it. For a while, I was kind of like in the camp where they need to move away from the Skywalkers. I think it's cool that Anakin's involved. I'd like to see more about, Bale and Skull, the Mortis gods. But, I also think it's important for Star Wars to, make quality content in the form of TV shows or movies that aren't centered around the Skywalkers or Han Solo and introduce new characters and like a whole, I think it would be really cool if Star Wars made a trilogy about entirely new characters. Granted, I love what they're doing with this Ahsoka stuff. I did finish the season. I thought it was incredible. I was not expecting it to be as good as you were. Obviously, you're more in the know on Star Wars than I am. So, you knew more about what to expect than I did. And as much as I say that, I'd love to see more from this story because it was awesome, but I don't know if I would agree Star Wars is the greatest story ever. They have 9 episode movies and 3 of them are like 2 are awful, 1 is okay, and the other 6 are fire.
Yeah, I still think it's the greatest story of all time.
Fair. We can agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, I still do because I just think that Anakin Skywalker. I just think that the Skywalkers are like the greatest characters in fandom.
I think the Infinity Saga is greater than that by a long shot.
I disagree. I understand. No, but I think the Infinity Saga was perfectly done on screen. I think that the true meaning of it is better in live action, but I think the story in general about what it can bro, I just think that going back this far and going through like the creation of the Force and stuff, I think that's like that's deeper lore than what I that's some deep lore, and I feel like Marvel That's where I think Marvel is lacking, honestly. I think that Marvel's is still so much about fighting and stuff, and they're not digging deep enough into lore. Like when you have King the Conqueror, that's deep lore, bro. You know, like they can be digging into the creation of how the Marvel universe was created, to where we can meet the creator of the Marvel universe. Like, bro, we looked at Eternity and Thor: Love and Thunder, and they did nothing with it. Eternity became a freaking girl. And nothing wrong with that, and nothing
Well,
against females, but
that's why I
Eternity
said the
became a
Infinity Saga.
because,
Listen,
bro, think about that.
Marvel
Eternity
has
became a child.
Dude, I listen. I've said many times, Thor: Love and Thunder shouldn't have happened. It's a movie that served no purpose. It made the MCU worse, and the MCU would be better off, and so would all of us if that movie didn't exist.
Yeah, because they used one of the greatest Marvel characters of Eternity, who was like deep Marvel lore that we all love, and they just butchered it. You know, even
Netflix.
the symbiote god, bro. Did you see that in Thor: Love and Thunder? They had the symbiote god laying dead with the sword. Another like when in the comics,
No, they had no.
Noel was laying on the ground dead. Type it in, bro.
No fucking way. Oh my god.
Think about that.
Dude, that's fucking wild.
Violation. So, yeah,
Dude,
man. Yeah.
Netflix deletes content all the time. Disney Plus should take a note. They should delete Thor: Love and Thunder. They should discontinue the DVDs. It should be wiped off the face of the earth. And people who made that movie should never be allowed to make another movie.
Yeah,
again.
Taika should not be back for Thor 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or Thor 4. Or Thor 5, whatever.
Yeah. Or
okay.
any movie that has any kind of lore.
I agree. Okay, yeah, he's a lore. He's like Zack Snyder, lore killer. Okay. Next thing. All right. None of the original DCEU cast will be in the new DCU. It is official. Variety put out a whole entire article about it. So it is official, okay? I know we talked about Gal Gadot and the possibility of her coming back. Comic Cuts called it. He said it was probably Cap, and he's not wrong. Everyone's gone. Even after Aquaman, Momoa's done. So yeah, I'm going to talk about my perspective, and then I want Comic Cuts to jump on and talk about his. I think this is a great decision, because you are starting a new universe, and you don't want to start it with the same characters, because it would just be too much confusion on. Oh well, then how did he get into the new DCU? You know what I mean? It would just be too much confusion there. But also, and I commented this on Heroic Hollywood's Instagram, which I was kind of met with some hate, but Heroic Hollywood deleted the comments because he doesn't like hate on this page. But the one thing I said is I loved most
like
of them.
Hate.
Yeah, I got hate, but I said, but Heroic Hollywood cooked them and like deleted the comments. But I said, cool. I said I love.
By the way, unlike, I keep cutting you off.
Go ahead. What
I was going to say, unlike some people who don't get our backs on their own page.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, but but the comment that I said was I love most of them. It was a great run. Time for the new to rise. That's how I feel. I am grateful for what they did because the Snyder Cut is beautiful. Man of Steel was beautiful, minus him killing Zod. Wonder Woman 1 was beautiful. I still love the Flash movie with Ezra. I still watch that movie to this day, and I still don't understand how that movie gets hate.
I know it's fire.
Yes, you know yes, Blue Beetle is staying in the DC.
The truth is there is too much baggage, and it's like all the people that are going nuts that Henry Cavill is fired, and here's the thing, like they don't want the baggage of those fans. They want those fans to leave them alone, which they'll never do. They don't want to deal with them, and that's why they're not making Snyder Cut 2. They didn't want to do it. They want to kiss these fans goodbye. And they know even if they wanted to keep Gal Gadot or Jason Momoa, there's just too much baggage with them. And I kind of don't think that – listen, I think it's possible. I could be wrong on this. But I kind of think they would be better off not recasting them in the DCU at all. As much as I would love to see Gal Gadot, because we would all benefit from her being on the screen. But here's
One
the
of the
thing.
most beautiful women I've ever seen on screen. She is just flat
Facts.
out. She's just so beautiful, man. It's insane. But
Period.
anyways, keep
And
going.
she's a killer actor. But here's the thing, and I would like to see Jason Momoa as Lobo. I think he looks the part, even though I kind of think a lot of people are so dumb and they're like, oh, he looks the part, so like he should automatically be Lobo. I think there's too much baggage with it. I don't think it's a good idea to recast these characters into new roles. I think they should go entirely new from the beginning. And I also think, and I think they will because James Gunn is brilliant, but I think they should learn from the mistakes of the DCEU because there were a lot of them. And, I said something to someone earlier today about mistakes. That's the thing about mistakes. They're useless unless you acknowledge them and learn from them. Otherwise you're going to keep making them if you can't admit you made it. And, and James Gunn doesn't have to admit he made it because he didn't make any mistakes. He was just looking at what the past people did. And I kind of think they should go in a James Bond route with the actors. And what I mean by that is I think they would be better off casting people that like we don't really know about. And I know people don't like that because they like to do their fan castings. Screw your fan castings. Okay. We're talking about the future of the DCU here.
I mean, Corn Sweat was low-key a fan casting.
Corn Sweat was. And listen, some of them I'm sure fine. But like there are a lot of actors out there that are very talented that we just haven't seen yet. And I'm not saying like, listen, if they could get Jensen Ackles to do Batman and agree to it, which I don't know why he wouldn't, I think he should be Batman. But I do think some of the actors, like it would be cool to get someone to play Hal Jordan, who we don't really know who it is, and it's some new kid, and like that's how he becomes famous. And I think the reason I could be wrong on this, but because like no one's ever confirmed it, but I'm a longtime James Bond fan, and I always felt that the reason that they picked actors that weren't well known to be James Bond is because you can't typecast someone that you're not familiar with. And it's interesting because when Daniel Craig was cast as James Bond, everyone freaked out because he was blonde. And then when the movie came out and they unfairly criticized him, they went like nuts. Similar to how the Snyder fans on Twitter are every single day. When that movie came out, everyone shut up. No one would admit that they ripped on Daniel Craig being James Bond because he was blonde. And everyone was able to enjoy Casino Royale as the amazing movie it was. And all of a sudden, it didn't even matter that he was blonde. So, I think that the people at DC, at James Gunn, I think they know what they're doing. I trust them to pick actors that I haven't seen in something before. And I think it would be a really cool experience for all of us to not get to typecast the actors and just wait until the movie comes out and enjoy it for what it is.
100% agree. By the way, we just got us a subscriber, so 838 subs. Thank you guys.
Boom, boom, boom.
Almost at 900. Almost at 900. Yeah, and I agree. I agree with everything you said. Yeah, I mean, you just got to start new. You got to start fresh. And Corn Sweat is an actor that hasn't had that much stuff. Rachel Brosnan is another one. Doesn't have much skin in the game, but it's a perfect like we need characters where like they are relying on this project to boost their career. Because when you have actors that like are hungry, they come with it with a different energy. Like RDJ was coming off of jail. I mean, and literally being like labeled a failure in the business. That's why he went so hard on Iron Man. You know what I mean? So I think yeah.
And that's the thing. Like someone, and I'm not saying Henry Cavill wouldn't put his all into it but like someone like Henry Cavill is going to be successful and wealthy no matter what he does at this point,
I guess they are all staying in DCU.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was just responding to the comment. He said Blue Beetle is staying in the DCU.
Yeah.
I was saying, yep. And all of these people should stay.
Yeah.
Even though Comic Cuts isn't a Zolo fan, but
I'm not I'm not a Zolo fan. But here's the thing about those three. I mean, the Viola Davis. I don't even know who. I know she is.
Amanda Waller.
Yeah, John Cena is obviously famous already. But the thing with John Cena that's a little different is he's famous, but like he's new to movies and that kind of thing. You know, obviously Viola Davis isn't. Zolo is obviously new. But yeah, you know, like also think about Miss Marvel, the actress, the Imani something. She absolutely crushed it. No one knew who she was. I'm pretty sure that's like her first big acting job ever, and she absolutely crushed it. And if you don't think there's more talented actors out there that we are unfamiliar with, you're out of your mind. You're mute.
Sorry, my wife was my wife was outside. I had to make sure she was all right.
Okay.
She was out for a mad time. She's talking to her neighbor. Sorry. Yeah, she's talking to her neighbor. Anyways,
Okay.
It's dark outside. I don't like her walking at night. Anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, I 100% agree. Now let's get to this next one. You already talked about it, so I think this is dumb too. Jason Momoa in talks for Lobo and Superman Legacy. This doesn't move the needle for me. I honestly don't care. Whatever, dude. I mean,
I don't even think Lobo should be in Superman Legacy.
Yeah, it would be awesome, but like, it's not like it's a life-changing casting.
Yeah.
You feel the same way? Like, who cares?
Yeah, it's like, dude, people got to stop with, oh, they look the part, so they should take the part. Like,
he's not playing Lobo, I promise you.
Yeah. Daniel Craig doesn't look like your typical James Bond, and he's arguably the best Bond we ever had.
Is the best Bond. Okay. Aquaman 2. Bad news about it. It's still testing badly. I don't know if because the trailer was kind of fire to us. We liked the trailer.
Yeah.
So, but apparently it was bad. Also, and I think this is why. Okay, so we're gonna get outside of the superheroes real quick. We all know what happened with Amber Heard. We're not going to get into it, but obviously that happened. And basically, the rumors is that Jason Momoa wanted her fired. And also they say he will come drunk on set, dressed like Johnny Depp, and they would get into arguments. And he basically like kind of harassed her, like not in a bad way, but maybe in a bad way. We kind of harassed her the whole time because he didn't want her on the film. And apparently they cut so many scenes because the chemistry was that off.
Wow.
That's how bad the chemistry was in the film.
Which would add to the explanation that her screen time is very, very minimal. Here's the thing. I don't think, listen, I'm not going to co-sign him harassing her in ways we don't know about. You know, that word is a pretty strong word, and if he's doing it,
and maybe not, and maybe I'm off by saying harassing, but he was just like, he wasn't feeling the fact that she was still in the movie. If that,
and that I get. You know, listen, Jason Momoa, Aquaman 2. Aquaman 1 did $1 billion. He wants this movie to succeed. He's the title star, and he's got this woman who is like legally abusing someone and being exposed as a bold-faced liar, and her being attached to the movie is obviously going to hurt box office. I don't know how much, but if you were the title star and you were getting paid based on the movie's success and your reputation was attached to it, I think you would be pretty pissed that she was a part of it too.
I agree. Mostly because he stuck up for her too. Yeah.
And he stuck up for her. He put his neck on the line for her, and she lied to him, and she lied to Johnny Depp. She lied to all of us. And yeah, he has every right to be more than frustrated about it.
Yeah. And so Jason Momoa was playing a character like Aquaman. That's like saying, yes, exactly. Number one, making Momoa as Lobo will be too soon of a casting because literally Aquaman is coming out in December, and then in 2025 he's Lobo. Like it will confuse fans. I don't really think they're going to do that.
And everyone's like, oh, I feel so bad for these actors. And like, yes, if you put work into something and you're expecting it to become a big movie universe, like that sucks. But Jason Momoa, of all of the actors that from the DCEU, like he is one of the ones I'm least worried about. He is going to be a more than successful actor. He very well could win an Oscar in the future. He's going to be fine.
But also, Fast and Furious, like the bag he has with them is
Yeah, he
literally
killed
insane.
it in that movie.
Oh yeah, he's going off.
By the
So
way, he actually might not win an Oscar if he was so good in that movie. The Oscar is so pretentious with like who they give awards to, and it's insane. It's insane. If your movie isn't like an artsy movie with a social message, you're not winning.
yeah, it's all. I mean, bro, we all know those award shows are narrative based. That's why a lot of actors don't even show up anymore. Like you never see
Yeah,
like you
and
never see Jason
musicians to the
Momoa there.
Grammys
Yep, that's what. Like, but why do you think Kanye and Drake don't go? Because who
and Jay
cares?
Z, and they've said
Yeah.
it. I'm pretty sure Jay Z said like that's why we don't go.
Yep. So screw them. Okay. So yeah. As I say, I hope Aquaman 2 is good. You know, I would love for it to be good, but if it's not, I mean, I really don't care. I'm still going to go see it. But the story I wanted was about Aquaman's son, and Mara should have been a focus. And it's sad that all this stuff happened because Amber Heard was good as Mara. Like she was a really good actress as Mara, and it was one of the perfect castings that we got, and it got ruined. So it sucks,
Yeah,
and it's gonna hurt seeing this movie where like there's gonna be no chemistry. Um, even though they're called actors. All right.
yeah.
Now let's get into like you're calling an actor and you can't. Okay, whatever. Okay. All right. Like you get paid millions of dollars to fake something and you can't fake it. All right.
Yeah.
Like real quick, like I understand what she did, not okay, but at the end of the day, you're getting paid millions of dollars. Ezra did the things he did. I still watch The Flash. Just saying.
And he killed it in that movie.
Just saying. Like I get it. The Amber Heard thing sucks, but we all watched not we all because the movie did terribly in theaters, but people still watch The Flash. Ezra's still a piece of crap. Everyone agrees, but the man had a job and he did it, and people still saw it. Like so. Like if that was a case, then don't release the darn movie.
Yeah.
Don't release it. Anyways, okay. Let's get this next one. Deadpool 3 is keeping its current release date. I think this is a beautiful thing. Obviously the writer's strike was a big thing, but it seems like they were still writing during the strike. If it's already done. And they were filming a lot before the strike anyway. Aquaman team with his brothers kind of same as Thor working together. Well, yes. And I think it's going to be a really dope story. And I think this movie is going to be very underrated. I ain't gonna lie. I think Aquaman, like I love James Wan, so I think this movie is going to be very good. Okay. Deadpool 3 keep its current release date. Deadpool 3 is going to be a really big movie. That's going to gross $1 billion, obviously. Just off the strength of Hugh Jackman and Deadpool alone. I also want to challenge you on something because you keep complaining about cameos. Is it a cameo if they're in the movie more than 20 minutes? If they're in the movie the whole time, does that count as a cameo?
It's a good question. They count. The problem that I have with the cameos is when the hype is reliant on cameos. Like everyone's talking about Tobey Maguire in Secret Wars, and like I am a diehard Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy fan. Those movies were my childhood. Yeah, I love seeing Tobey, but when the hype isn't on the movie based on the movies leading up to it being awesome and everyone being hooked on the story, I have a problem with that because it feels more like a gimmick than it does a decision in an effort to make the movie good. It feels like we're not really getting traction with these movies. Let's bring another actor in that played a superhero in a different movie, and that way people will talk about the movie and buy tickets to the movie. And I have a problem with that. Listen, and I also, obviously, if I grew up with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, that means I also grew up with the Fox X-Men movies. So I also love Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. So listen, I'm excited to see these characters in these movies. I too, like as much as I think it's a gimmick, I'm falling for it. I'm starting to be like, Deadpool 3 is going to be awesome. But, at the same time, am I wrong? If Deadpool 3 were coming out and Wolverine weren't in it, you think it would be getting the hype it is now? And Deadpool 3 is a bit of an outlier because Deadpool 1 and 2 didn't take place now they are considered MCU, but when they came out, they weren't MCU movies. So Deadpool 3 is a little different. Where I
Deadpool 3 would still be big regardless.
Not as big.
Yes, it would be, bro.
You wouldn't be saying it's going to do $1 billion.
Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Get out of here. I don't buy that. No,
I promise you. I promise you, bro.
That's a big number.
I know. It's going to do $1 billion. It is.
The Batman didn't even do $1 billion, bro.
The Batman ain't Deadpool, bro.
Batman is Batman, though. He's like number one.
Deadpool has grossed more than Batman.
Let's see how much Deadpool won.
Deadpool 2 did $1 billion, bro. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong.
Deadpool won 782.
Deadpool 2 over $1 billion. I'm pretty sure.
784.
Nah.
You're
Dark Knight did $1 billion.
Dark Knight
did $1 billion. Dark Knight $1 billion. And I hate that movie. Okay, anyways. All right, it's not bigger than Batman, but Deadpool is big. And with Hugh Jackman, they're doing $1 billion. There's no way around that. Like, these are one of those movies, and like, that's where, like, because I don't count the Spider-Man No Way Home as cameos because they were in the movie for like more than half an hour. Like, they're and Wolverine is the same way. I think they're actually going to be in the plot. Even when I think about Secret Wars, if this thing with Tobey Maguire and them is true, it's going to be a part of the plot of the movie. It's not going to be a cameo. To me, a cameo is the bull jive that they did with that movie, Multiverse of Madness, where we see him for 2 minutes and then that's it. That's whack to me. Well, I think that's a BS.
That's even worse, but these still are cameos. Like, they still are being lent. You're borrowing help from an actor that didn't have to be in the story leading up to it. And let me ask you this.
Okay.
If the movies that come out in the 2 to 3 years leading up to Secret Wars aren't doing well, and they're not good, and they're not performing well, would you not think it's a gimmick to be pulling out all the stops with the cameos?
Bro, all movies are gimmicks. What are you talking about?
No.
That's the movie business. Bro, the movie business is to get people to want to watch the movies, right? Like
by
Avengers
making
Infinity
good movies.
You can have gimmicks and have good movies. Like, do you not think the back-to-back Avengers movies were gimmicks? They were gimmicks, dude. The whole point of everybody coming back, that's a gimmick, bro. You temporarily kill these people. Like, do you really think people thought they were dead? No, everyone knew that.
But people were into the MCU. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Civil War, all the movies leading up to Infinity War and Endgame were fire.
I believe that fans will be back.
The people weren't like, oh, I can't wait for Infinity War because an actor that, because Hugh Jackman's in it. They didn't even do that.
Yeah, they said, I can't wait for Infinity War because Robert Downey Jr. is in it and Chris Evans.
They were also in Civil War.
Oh, and Infinity War. So, but yeah, and so what does that matter? They're introducing a new character. I don't see anything wrong with that, bro.
They're not introducing a new character. That's the whole thing. They're introducing an old character.
Yeah, but it's a variant of Wolverine. So it technically is a new character. It's not the same Wolverine. It's a variant of the character. I think you're overthinking it. I'll be real. I think you're overthinking
it. Say you were going to see a basketball game, and say the Bulls had a shitty roster. They were awful.
They today.
Were like, okay, and they were like, you know what? We're gonna have one night only. Michael Jordan is coming back.
Okay.
You don't think that would be like kind of like a gimmick? Like, you can't.
Yeah, but that's business, bro. That's business.
Yeah,
business is marketing.
It is. But I would rather them sell us on a quality story that wants us. That's like, oh, I'm excited for what's happening next because I'm enjoying the story. Not
you can have a quality story. You can have a quality story and a gimmick, bro. You can have a. You can have a quality story with a gimmick, bro.
And that would be much better than having a shitty story and a
The
gimmick.
Flash did that. The Flash had a quality story with the gimmick.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't really care about the gimmick.
That's the thing. That's the thing, bro.
I couldn't care less about the cameos.
But you're also taking Deadpool out of context because the whole idea is him going through the Fox universe. That's the whole point. So you're kind of taking out of context where the plot is him honoring the old universe and destroying it. That's why Wolverine plays a part. You can't you can't have him go back into the Fox universe without Wolverine because he's the heart and soul of that universe. The same way as if it was a Deadpool kills the MCU, I would want either Tony, Steve, or Thor to be in that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the way that I see it. Like either or, you need one of those prime characters to do that.
That's fair, but when it comes to the MCU, or outside of Deadpool, because Deadpool is kind of like a gray area.
When you see Toby and Hugh Jackman, you're going to cry. You're going to be hyped, bro. There's no way around it. Like, think about that, bro. A multiversal team led by Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, most likely Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and all these other characters, and probably we're going to get Tony and Steve all, bro.
Fantastic
that roster with Reed Richards,
they have to deliver. That's all I'm saying. Is like these movies leading into Secret Wars, they got to be good. Loki episode 1, great sign. I think the Marvels is going to deliver. I don't think it's going to sell well, but I do think the movie's going to deliver. And whether it sells well or not, I think it's going to deliver, and people are going to talk about it online. And I think a lot of people will probably wait to watch it at home, and once they do, they'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I 100% agree, bro. But yeah, dude, you are wrong about the cameos, though. And we're gonna debate that another day. I'm gonna have to not agree with that one. But yeah, so that's that. Okay, now let's finish out with some comics that you're reading. Comic Cuts. What are you reading, bro? Give the fans some game.
There is a new comic that dropped last week. Well, there's two I'm going to talk about. There's Ultimate Invasion, which is insane. It kind of feels like a continuation of Hickman's original Ultimate run, but it has to do with the Maker, which is an evil version of Reed Richards that built his own world and community of super smart autonomous community that builds technology, and he fucks with everyone, and it has some really big ideas about the future, about AI, and how to handle it. I highly recommend that. And Gods also came out last week, which the first one came out and it was $9. And I know a couple of people had some critiques about that, but I heard that the next couple issues are going to be regularly priced, which I believe is $4.99. So not to worry there if you were. But Gods is really cool because Gods is it's a totally new class of Marvel heroes. Stephen Strange is one of the main characters in the story, but there are also new gods, and there are gods of science, and there are gods of magic, and they are at war. And there are these two characters, Wynn, and I forget the other one's name, who's kind of like his girlfriend, and they have a pretty, I don't want to give anything away, but giving enough away, minor spoilers to get you kind of interested in the story. They kind of have a rough divorce, and then it goes into the future, which brings about the war between the gods of magic and the gods of science. And it was absolutely wild. And if you know anything about John Hickman, he always brings what I like to call the big ideas. His comics are big idea books. Both are of his writing. There's Ultimate Invasion, there's Gods, and they already announced that the Ultimates are going to continue. I forget who's writing the Ultimates. I think it's him, but he's also about to do a new Ultimate Spider-Man. So, a lot of fire coming out. I highly recommend you check out all of it. And that's it.
Yep. Good. And I'm going to end with this quote. Ahsoka will become a Mortis god.
An Immortus god?
a mortis. She's going to become a force god.
Oh, I was like, whoa, that would be dope.
And I'm going to leave that. I'm gonna do a theory video on that because I really do believe that. But yeah, okay. Now look, guys, please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you know when we post. We upload every single day, so we're always on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that jazz.
Yep.
Follow us, follow Comic Cuts at Comic Cuts, me at Superhero Cuts. We're always going hard every day, so let's hit this 1,000, man. Let's hit this 1,000. Thank you guys for watching our videos. We love you. Have a wonderful day. Peace out. Dragon Trainer, love you, bro.
Peace.
Dragon Trainer, do me a favor, man. DM me on Instagram at because you're always showing us love. DM me on Instagram. I'm gonna tell you my Instagram right now. DM me at if I'm out of name. DM me at Superhero Cuts. Send me your address. I want to send you some merch for free because you're always showing love. So DM me. I have some merch here, and I wanna ship you a shirt. So DM me, DM Comic Cuts as well because I also have a Comic Cuts. I have a Comics Cuts logo shirt too that I want to send you as well. That is in beta testing mode, but I'll send you one of the betas so you could be the first one. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.
Peace.